What's up, guys? Here with another video, and in this video, I'll be talking about the NBA 2021 playoff so far, right? So, what's the recap or the season itself? This has got to be the weirdest, you know, and the most unpredictable season I have ever seen in my life, and I will, explain in depth, like why this NBA season had a lot of surprise. Yeah, there's gonna be a lots of upset, and any NBA fans can just watch my video, right? I know I'm not very popular, but just watch it, just for fun. Hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you like my opinions. But yeah, man, if I miss something, just comment below and stuff. But I have not been watching lots of game, but I've been like overhearing like what is going on in NBA. And I was about to make a prediction about this 2021 NBA playoff, but I'm too lazy, like I said. So yeah, and when I just make a little prediction, then yeah, everybody makes NBA prediction and look like they are totally off, saying that, oh, like whoever wins championship of this year or not. The reason why this season was very unpredictable is because like I said, either players choke, there's overrated teams, there are teams that are fraud, and injuries are biggest reason. When okay, let me give you I think here's the number one reason of how to win an NBA championship. Definitely, you definitely need healthy players, because yeah, like I said, one superstars or star player gets injured, and this team does not have a very good chance of winning championships. And I'm sorry to say this, man, but that's the truth. Team lost because of injuries. Yes, that is part of it's just part of it, man. Like something like it's almost like very impossible to avoid. Just to be honest with you. Yeah, an NBA season, like there has been a lots of disappointment stuff, and also injuries and injury rates are like crazy, man. They're crazy, and I'll tell you like who gets injured. So far, the season before I talk about the playoffs. So I know that Joel gets injured. Several superstars like Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and forgot who. Like there's so many superstars, got injured. Anthony Davis got injured. Kawhi got injured. Chris Paul gets injured. Like, and part of the Jazz, Mike Conley gets injured. It's just insane, man. Insane. Yeah, because of this global pandemic thing. Like, just one little pandemic caused a lot of problem. Yeah, it caused the break to shorten up, and the NBA season to like shorten up but play a lot more game. And that's, I got a feeling like that's how it caused a lot of injury. I know that some players are super injury prone, like Anthony Davis, for example, or even LeBron James. LeBron James even get injured too throughout the season, and that's what's causing the Lakers season, man. That's just a matter of fact. I know that Klay Thompson's been out for like 2 years already. Like time fly. Yeah, I know that Steph Curry gets injured. Even Draymond gets injured. Like, insane, man. Anybody can get injured at this point. Like, what is wrong with this NBA? Like, yeah, I know that a lot of people are gonna dislike. It's not because of what I say, but because of injuries. I mean, if everybody was fully injured, I mean, let's say fully healthy, then basketball result will be a very different result. But yeah, it looks like like, to be honest, small market teams are actually gonna win the championship. Let's just say it here, man. Small market team, right? We talk about small market teams. Like, let's say the team that never advanced to the conference final, or even to the NBA finals itself, or never won a title. There's a lots of teams that are very hungry for championship, and they gonna play their hearts out, man. Yeah, and there's a lot of physical fight too, So let's just get into Yeah, coincidentally, why do I say coincidentally? Coincidentally, today is Saturday, June 9th of 2021. You know exactly what happened 5 years ago, right? LeBron won the championship in Cleveland. That's not what the video is about, but I just want to make a remind about you guys that tomorrow's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. And and 5 years ago was happened to be Father's Day, and LeBron beat the 73 Warriors, when the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead, right? Yeah, that was nuts, man. LeBron was the GOAT, after they beat down the Golden State Warrior. 73-9 Warrior. Just happened, coincidentally, like 5 years anniversary. But unfortunately, he's out, right? So that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Okay, because I talk about LeBron. So the Phoenix Suns versus the Lakers. I know that the Lakers, are the championship last year, right? And I predict them to win another championship this year, but I was totally wrong because Anthony Davis went down with injury, and then the Suns, they got Chris Paul, they got DeAndre Ayton, they got Devin Booker. The Suns technically smoked the Lakers, man. Game 6, Game 7, they smoked them out of the building. Game 6 was a blowout, man. A 30-point blowout. Yeah, the Phoenix Suns, eliminated the Lakers, which is upsetting a lot of Laker fan, right? Okay, this is what I'm talking about Phoenix Suns. You know how good the Phoenix Suns, were last year, right? But this year they got way better than, a couple years ago. A couple years ago, they were the biggest laughing stock of the NBA. Then, next year, unfortunately, they went 8-0 in the bubble, and they still could not make it to the playoff. Shout out to Monty Williams. They were literally this close, one game or even 1 point, from making, to the playing tournament or potentially getting to the playoff, and they missed it. And now, they are the second seed. They knocked the Lakers. They swept the Nuggets because Nuggets, like I said, Nuggets are injured. They didn't have Jamal Murray. If Jamal Murray was there, it probably wouldn't be, 4-0. They cleaned up the Nuggets, man. They shred them to pieces. Even though the Denver, beat the Portland Trailblazers, which is, disappointing, the Portland Trailblazers, head coach got fired. That's what happened. Because Portland, has been disappointing. Damian Lillard's not happy, Heard that he's request for a trade, so I don't know, man, but that's just a rumor. And then, I'm going to talk about, the Clippers versus the Mavericks. I honestly think that Mavericks could have eliminated the Clippers. They were this close. Because we all know that the Clippers, are an overrated team. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows, how Clippers are, right? Especially, Lakers have a very strong hate towards the Clipper. The Clipper pull out, Game 7, But that series is weird. And it's why is it weird? Explain. Okay, the Clippers were down 2-0, right? And they lost both games at their home. That was when 2 games stole 2 Clippers game at home, and then the Clippers stole 2 games at the Mavericks, and then the Mavericks stole the game at Clippers, and then the Clippers stole the game at the Mavericks, and then the Clippers, win at their home. It's 6 straight games, team win on the road in that series. That was hella weird. I mean, I get it's no fans, because of, limited, fans restrictions, all stuff, like I said, But Luka didn't get enough help. Kristaps Porzingis, look so washed up. Luka's the only one, that really put the Dallas, into, being the Clippers. But then, Kawhi, they got their, Paul George, stepping up. So they finished up the Dallas, and then you got the Utah versus the Memphis. I honestly think Memphis could have got the Jazz to Game 7 because a couple of games were very close. If the Memphis was a little bit better and, if they want to expose the Jazz, the Jazz should have honestly, They deserve to be serious, but this series should have gone to 7, in my opinion. I'll explain you why, after, they beat the Memphis. Now, here comes the conference semifinal, right? So that's round 2 of the playoff. So what, and I have a very big something to say. So I already explained that Denver got swept, but the Clippers, have lifted their curse. That is the biggest thing that I ever seen in the Western Conference, playoff. The Clippers never advanced to the third round. And they have made history yesterday. They win 4 straight games against the Jazz. I know that the Jazz were a really huge threat to the Clippers, but the Clippers, they won the last 2 games without Kawhi Leonard. That is the crazy part. Because, think about this, man. Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson, Patrick Beverly, all the Clippers, the entire Clippers, step up. They look hungry as heck, man. And they just want to, smack the Jazz. And Rudy Gobert is overrated. That's why I heard. Rudy Gobert is overrated, man. The Jazz has so much problem, man. I knew that I got a feeling that even if the Jazz, defeat the Clippers, this is a fact. I'm not making this up. If the Jazz defeat the Clippers, in their conference, there's no way they're beating the Phoenix Suns the way they're playing, man. There's just no way they're beating the Suns. Because I remember in the regular season, the Suns, every time they play against Jazz, the Jazz has, simply no answer. They could not keep up with the Suns. And you know that if they get in the playoff, you know that the Suns are going to smoke the Jazz. They're going to get totally exposed. So I wasn't even surprised, if the Clippers, eliminate, the Jazz. This team cannot play defense. I know Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, they're doing okay, but it's just that this Rudy Gobert guy, man, and Coach Quinn Snyder, the head coach of the Jazz should definitely be fired because he doesn't know what the heck he's doing out there, man. He's getting out-coached by Tyronn Lue. That's why overheard. Right? Yeah, this is unacceptable. I have never seen this in my life, man. Okay, let's see. 2 first game. The Jazz, went at home, barely beat the Clipper within 2 digits. And then the Clippers blew out the Jazz, and then, the Clippers were, blew out the Jazz again, but the Jazz came back in game 4, cut it, to within, 20-point lead. They lost 15 point or whatever, and then game 5, they lost at the home, I heard that the Jazz, crowd is really loud, They should have won game 5 or game 6. And game 6, they blew a 25-point lead. And then you lose by 12 points. Within the half, you gave up almost 40 points. That's unacceptable, Jazz. I mean, for the Jazz fan or whoever listened to this, man, you look at the Jazz versus Clipper, the Jazz plays totally garbage. Garbage, man. Any team can just probably beat the Jazz right now. I'm just saying this, man. The way the Jazz answered to the Clipper, Memphis could have possibly eliminated the Jazz. I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious. This has got to be the worst thing, that the Jazz fan I've ever seen. For me, I'm a fan of nobody, but this is even though, I don't care for any team, I don't care, who wins or not, even though the Lakers gone, but still, man, still. You cannot blow a 25-point lead in the playoff like this, man. And you lose by double digit. That's very... The Jazz fan and the Jazz, organization and the Jazz, team itself didn't deserve, to win the series. And they should be very ashamed of themselves. I know everybody knows that if the Jazz, didn't have any of these problems, they would have, eliminated Clippers, no problem. Right? I know that they get injury stuff, but still no excuse. Yeah, because the Mavericks and the Jazz, I know Clippers are overrated because these two teams choke real so hard, man. That's what got the Clipper to advance to the, semifinal. And the Clipper broke their curse in 50 years. Just like the Cavalier broke their curse in 50 years, they won 5 years ago against the Golden State, the super Golden State Warrior team. They're not super, but 739 Warrior. LeBron got them the championship. 50 years, man. The Clippers have never always exited the second round, but now they did not. Did not happen this year. But congratulations to them. They make history. They play real hard. They show their hearts out. They show that without Kawhi Leonard, they're still very deep. They still, potentially eliminate the Suns, but I'm not sure about that because you know how Coach Monty Williams is, right? Oh my gosh. Clipper versus Suns in the conference final. It's gonna get spicy, man. It's the game's tomorrow, man. Oh, it's gonna be very spicy because I talked to some people I know. They say that Clipper versus Suns, this is gonna be interesting, but yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be feisty, man. It's gonna be very physical. It's gonna be insane. But I expect the Suns not to sweep the Clippers, even though Kawhi's out, but because they didn't have Chris Paul. But I feel sorry for Chris Paul, always get injured, whenever they're in the semifinal. Just like the Houston versus the Warrior, Unfortunately, the Rockets get eliminated, in 7 games, versus the Warrior because Chris Paul, had to exit out. This time he does not get to play at all. Sorry for him. Okay, 16 minutes in, and let's talk real quick about Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference is very interesting. Of course, Brooklyn's our super talented team, so they're gonna eliminate the Celtics, no problem. Celtics, very embarrassing season, lots of injury dealt stuff. And then, let's go with the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat. Milwaukee, the Heat, they were in the finals last year, winning 2 games against the Lakers, but this embarrassing Heat, man, they didn't get a single game from the Milwaukee Bucks. That was the Bucks sweep them, man, sweep. And then the New York Knicks against Atlanta. Atlanta's are very tough. I expect the Knicks, to barely beat the Hawks, but the Hawks win 4-1. Yeah, the Knicks, you go kind of inexperienced, kind of play individual, This is why they couldn't beat the Hawks. And then you got the Sixers versus the Washington Wizards. I know how Doc River is. I heard Doc River overrated, but I know that the Wizards are probably going to win 1 game, and I was pretty much right about it. The Sixers definitely should advance, It's hard. Now today, just the game ended, the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks series went nuts. And I tell you why. Game 7, they went to overtime, but then, I was cheering for the Brooklyn to win because, I just want Kevin Durant to prove all the haters wrong. I truly want to like Kevin Durant again, trying to save, a series, without, having a super squad with him. But I know that majority of his squads are injured, He only has James Harden, but still, Kevin Durant dropped almost 50 points, but still couldn't get over Milwaukee Bucks. But Milwaukee Bucks did a good job. Giannis, and the entire Bucks team look hungry. I don't know what's wrong with Brook Lopez right now, because I'm not a Bucks fan. I don't follow Bucks that much, but congratulations Bucks. They work their butts off, man. They really want to get in the finals. But if they don't make it, man, but I'm still, congratulating them, but they have to keep their momentum going, man, and don't, ever look back. And then you got the Sixers for Hawks. That's definitely the same game, 7-game series, The Sixers blew a huge lead 2 times, because of Doc Rivers, And Ben Simmons has been a big problem for the 76ers, missing a tons of free throw, The 76ers are embarrassing, in Game 4. At home court, they blew a 26-point deficit. 26 lead, not deficit. Deficit means you're down. Sorry, I use the same thing, but yeah, this is the unpredictable, man. I did not think the Hawks gonna drag the Sixers, to Game 7. I know the Hawks are talented, but then I didn't think they have this much. They did this much damage to the 76ers. The 76ers better watch it, man. Because if you're not careful, man, you better not tire out Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. Like I know Steph Curry, step up. I know he's the brother of Stephen Curry. These other role players better step up because you do not want the Sixer, to have a situation of what happened a couple years ago against the Raptors. Remember the Raptor, Kawhi made that clutch shot, that amazing clutch shot. Yeah, I remember that. But hopefully it doesn't happen again. I hope for the Sixer. I honestly predict the Sixer to at least, beat the Hawks tomorrow. But Trae Young, he's been a beast. Yeah, he's really young, even younger than me right now. We're both born the same year, but it doesn't matter how old people are. But the thing is, he's just super young. You gotta give this guy credit, man. But whatever that is, man. If there's more news about it, and once the conference finals finished, and once a 2-team advance to the conference final, then I will predict like who's gonna win championship, right? I'm pretty sure it's not the Lakers, or not the Nets. If the Lakers got eliminated, so I picked the Nets, but then Nets, got injured, and I didn't think the Bucks are gonna, exceed as much. They fought hard. They keep fighting. They want to prove wrong, saying that they're just not the regular season type of team. They just want to get to the final. That's their goal. They do not want just to enter the conference final. They want to go all the way out. So that way, Giannis doesn't leave the Bucks. Like I said, man, if players don't get what they want, then they're gonna leave. But I'm glad, the Bucks advance, so that way, they have a good future and stuff. But overall, I forgot to mention about the playing tournament. Yeah, because if you're in the 7th or 8th seed, then you're obviously going to try to fight the 9th or 10th seed. If you're in at least 10th seed, in the Western Eastern Conference, then you're in playing tournament. I forgot to mention playing tournament. I should have mentioned that in the beginning of the video because that was like the least important one. But I want to talk about the most important series first, so that way, I can get out of the way and stuff. I highly expect the Warriors to be the player because of Steph Curry just went off like nuts, man. This guy is a nut. He just like keeps shooting. You know how Steph Curry is, right? Like he's just like a machine shooter. But then I didn't expect the Memphis beat the Warriors. But I expect the Lakers beat the Warriors because Lakers are so deep, with Anthony Davis healthy. But see, I told you it's unpredictable. I picked the Warriors over the Memphis because even though they win the last game, against the Memphis, right? But then at the same time, Grizzly proved everyone wrong. The Grizzlies said, we're not missing the playoff again like they did last year. Remember how the Portland upset them, and the Memphis didn't see playoff. They just missed their chance, and then this time the Grizzlies got hungry as ever. Shout out to Ja Morant, Dillon Brooks, the entire Memphis squad. They beat down Golden State Warriors, and they even steal a game from the Jazz. And I honestly think that they should have won at least 2 games. Or even 3 games. The way the Jazz disappoint me. But yeah, like I said, the Memphis are just too inexperienced. That's the problem with the young team, man. Or even, you build super team. You build super team or a young team, they playoff. I expect them, to get out, in their first year, not that big of a deal because playoffs are totally different compared, to regular season. And then next year, next year is going to be even more unpredictable thing. Yeah, if I make a prediction, earlier, and if I make this video, recording right now, like my prediction is going to be totally off. Right? But like I said, we still don't know who's going to win championship because look like a lot of things can happen, within, short times of lap. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen anytime, like even right now. It is what it is, man. Like I said, man. There are still teams that haven't won the championship. And they're still not eliminated. So I say that the Clippers have not won championship. Definitely not the Phoenix Suns never won a championship. They advanced to the final, but then they get knocked off by some other random team. I don't know who that is. You know, not looking too much into Phoenix Suns, but I got nothing more to say, man. It's just crazy how, you know, teams above 20-point lead. 20-point lead is like nothing in the NBA, you know, as of right now, because a lot of teams shoot 3, right? Even the 30-point lead is still not safe in the NBA. Right? But let's do a quick recap of NBA season. The OKC Thunders has been very disappointing to me, and I tell you why. Since April 2021, you know, the Thunders were down 67 points to the Indiana Pacers, man, that didn't make it to the playoff. Pacers were disappointing, so their head coach is fired too. So let me go over all this crazy, you know, things that happened just within just this NBA season 2020 to 2021. So the Clippers were down 50 points at halftime, you know, against the Mavericks, and somehow they advanced, like, this over 18 just advanced, you know, to the conference final. So crazy. The Clippers are trash and they're just advancing, but they play their hearts out. They want to prove the haters wrong, you know. But they could get eliminated by the Suns. Most likely Suns are going to get to the finals. But I'm not hanging on the Clippers, you know, but you just have to give them respect, you know, even though you hate them. Clippers, you know, down 50 points. And then there are 60-point lead in the NBA, you know, back-to-back within a month. Warriors were down 61 to the Raptors. Thunders were down almost nearly 70 points to the Pacers. And then, you know, teams just blew up a lots of 20-point lead. You know, you're not seeing the championship Lakers anymore, you know. Dennis Schroeder has been, you know, this is a big disappointment for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder and, you know, all the, you know, roster. Even Kyle Kuzma. Andre Drummond's not the Detroit Drummond. Yeah, this Laker roster is looking ridiculous, but then they couldn't get past the first round because these role players don't know how to step up. LeBron's just like gassed out, man, and he's injury prone now. Lakers are eliminated. They'll have like just so many surprises, man. Like Adam Silver is like making this like very interesting, man. Very interesting, to be very honest with you guys. This is probably even more interesting than last year. We know last year the Lakers win because they wanted to win it for, you know, for Kobe Bryant, you know, who suddenly passed away that year. Unfortunately. Well, I have to end this video here. So, bye-bye.